palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Here. The Chief Justice is presently occupied with official matters.
This place does look pretty heavily guarded. Guess that proves that Nervalet's files are...
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or who you might be related to.
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep. Anyone can tell.
If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you to...
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were at the trial of the great magician...
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's attorneys. It's all...
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up case.
Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business.
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief...
Thanks so much.
Please come in. It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance.
So you're not mad at us?
We're looking for a man called Vacher. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some key information.
I see. In that case, please wait here a moment while I
Who knew that Nervalet would be so easy to talk?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vacher has been involved in any case, criminal or... There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that so? All right then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Ahem. Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man.
And what are you trying to say? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some... No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no... It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a last resort. You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear. If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call us? Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die? Despite everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the tiny... There are still so many things I never got to tell him. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes. I, Navia, will show you the true...
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all kinds of things in... It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express... Oh, well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the... My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Slavia, are you okay?
I'm fine.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder, it was all—
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? Do you think the rain could have— That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait.
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water and then got washed away with the— Yeah! And if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad, even if—
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. You're completely right. How did I— All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the bottom of my father's case for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna make progress for sure this time!
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself? Great. Let's go then. To be so surprised. While it may look like my father was the one who asked for it to be built like this, perhaps our taste in exterior design is the only thing we occasion. A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula had a glorious past. Paimon was confused why a group with such a history would live in this. Now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself?
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began, after all. It's our main base.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and our most important partners. You said before that you still had some business at the court. What brings you back to Poisson so quickly?
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something really important. You see, what if my father— You still remember, right, Malus? On that night, it was raining?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were what you'd call impossible.
Could you tell us a bit more about what happened before?
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called synth began to gain popularity in Poisson. At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many pleasant hallucinations.
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be used?
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that if you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, and if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety, while lacking energy to do anything. As he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse, and called for a complete ban of it.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, He refused to yield. Not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth operation.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers, all of whom only sold the stuff and weren't privy to the rest of the operation. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them. Finally, he was able to convince someone to become his informant. The man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families destroyed. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange information with Jacques over some food. But then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a gun, and Jacques, who was already dead on the ground.
Huh? How did that happen? Aren't they on this?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious. Looking back on it, though,
Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the but, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the 2 shots were fired. You're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me that we're on the right track to figuring it all out.
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. It's unlikely that he turned on Boss with 0 warning. I think this third person is probably the key. On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as your and your father's butler, our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to deal with, and Boss has already lost his life trying to bring them to... Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, Poisson has welcomed a new time of peace. There is no need to follow your father's path. It would be both wise and in line with Boss's wishes to step back.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should have told me. Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, I was the one most kept in the... What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he man... Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina di Rosula is big. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my life just as meaning? I've never accepted that. Ever. Not since that day. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girls, for the victims, and...
Flavia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite reliable, and more importantly...
So you do know something else, Maloose?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between Sid. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, demoiselle, had been selected as the next target to disappear.
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been diagnosed, and the serial disappearances case caused him great anxiety. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. But once he passed away, knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on, but as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the...
Right. So nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the others...
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful were still far preferable than...
So he chose to die in silence. So
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, demoiselle. What Boss wanted to... If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake of... I'm sure he'd be extreme.
that fool. No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never thought Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, but thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. Malus, what was the key evidence that he shared?
It's the location where synth is produced. Essentially, when he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specifics of the incriminating. But if you want to use it against the enemy...
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go...
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous... There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also have no idea what kind of evidence, but a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed, but also open ourselves up to...
Then, in that case, why not work with the Fontain?
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how thoroughly they may have been infiltrated.
That's true. Seems my father really hadn't, but things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the...
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Malus.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve the boss and demoiselle's will. I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability, I've spent my time keeping...
Thank you for all of that, Malus. Have you discovered...
Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that the enemy must be quite... When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used... If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. If the vendors packed up and fled, however, then someone must have given them the news. After several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, I've narrowed the suspect list down to 3. The first is Florent, Spina de Rasula's senior advisor.
Huh? Florent?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most, which also means that he was someone who understood. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, he always knew our upcoming plans and could thus avoid capture this whole time. There's someone else like him too. Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. Boss helped it to grow to its current size and prominence. In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're one of the richest guilds around with a lot of business.
So, they're like a sister organization of Spina di Rosula?
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the synth dealers, they provided us with plenty of support. It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own money to...
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and the guards. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities we have to report to the local authorities. Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities, he could theoretically always plan one step ahead.
I see. These
I communicate with quite regularly. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next to me all along, among those I trust the most. It's almost too...
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry. Judging from our experience, the enemy is...
Of course. And thank you, Malus.
You're too kind, my lady. I'm just doing my duty. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him of blame in Jacques' death. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. They still live in Poisson today. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit. I can make the necessary arrangements.
Aw, thank you so much, Malus. You really...
A new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover the truth.
It is settled, then. Please excuse me, and enjoy your conversation at your...
Thank you for arranging everything for us, Malus.
Excuse me, miss. Do you need anything from us?
Oh,
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened...
Ah, if it's about that, there's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that...
You don't understand at all.
I didn't know how to face you, because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a consolation gift. I know only the full truth could bring closure to you. And to...
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have to care. On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have more or less found our answer already.
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe that
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth business again. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, he thought... So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost immediately. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found...
They found out about his betrayal?
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you could say that's the conclusion I eventually came to. Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callus had always taken great care of us, both when he was, even if he fired the shot that killed my husband. It was likely in self-defense. It is impossible.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man, so why did he have to do—
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still—
Yeah, Papa was a really good man.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword, he must have done so.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find the truth.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to— Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really—
You really think so? That's the first—
Are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Florent should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city. I'll get myself together on the way, so please don't worry.
Boss, how may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House. Someone got turned into water right in front of us.
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic, I'm sure journalists will milk it for all it's worth. And it'll be—
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, it was raining outside. After my partner here put the dots together for me, I feel like we should try to reopen his case. Can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened that night?
Let me think. Mr. Callus was feeling pretty upbeat that— After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. So we let him go without thinking much of it. Who knew that— My first reaction was that Mr. Callus's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash toward the scene. But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callus was standing over a dead body.
So you also remember 2 gunshots then?
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never really bought the reason being. Mr. Callus had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the scene. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned, do you think there was a 3rd person there who was turned into water?
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring an extra gun with him. The gun he was holding probably belonged to Jacques.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callus ended up with the gun because he seized it from one of the other guys? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't he didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine, and chose instead to prove his honor in a duel? Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eyes?
About that, Luce told me a thing or 2. So, I think I can understand why he committed. I'll tell you everything once the whole truth has been revealed.
I understand. Then I'll leave Mr. Callus's honor in your hands, boss. And if I may just say one more thing, the whole Callus the Unfaithful epithet. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callus, even after so many years have passed. But it was Mr. Callus's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks of Spina di Rosula and live the life I lead no matter what others might say. He'll always be the man I respect the most.
Don't worry. I will definitely find you, and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know the truth as well. Hey, Thierry, it's me.
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you made quite the name for yourself at the...
Oh, so you've got news of that already.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know. The way you make it sound...
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city already?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Let's just say I enjoy the ambiance of Poisson. Callus did a fantastic job running the town, building Spina di Rosula from the ground up and clearing many obstructions in my way. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two friends of yours? You, here for some...
Yes. These two are my partner. What happened at the Opera House made us realize that Lenny's case and my...
Ah, I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know. If you want to go through the original files from your father's case, I can help you look for them.
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question.
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly handle Poisson on my own. Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to forcefully get more...
Well, you see, just recently, we were attacked by a horde of unnumbered Gardamex in the city. So, if you hypothetically wanted to do something against me, all you would need to do is get rid of...
Then you think too highly of my abilities. Dispatching mecha is very different from... If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to massage your shoulders. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind and ignore you completely. The same goes for meat. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it, so I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you mention it, though, being in this...
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, well, thank you for the vote of confidence. Jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the best with your investigation. I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find me if you need any support from the guards.
You can just say Navia's looking for him.
Sure, I will let him know right away.
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young as I used to be, so...
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. There's no need to... I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in the Opera House. I'm sure you saw everything too, right?
Yes, I've never seen anything so strange.
Oh, you were at the Opera House too?
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew it would turn into a whole murder mystery? I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. Quite impressive. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf, I can already imagine everyone in Fontain discussing your exploits over a few glasses of wine.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drunkard.
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation. Everyone loves drama and theatrics.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right?
Yes, I was reminded of your father's case right away. Is that what you're investigating now?
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but I can sense that the other side...
Oh, and what...
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordial sea. If not for the vigilance of my partner, I probably wouldn't even be here talking.
Oh, you're giving us too much credit. Wasn't it you?
Alas, it seems things are heating up again. The peace that Callus sought so dearly will soon become... But rest assured, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If you're scared, if anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the Confrérie of Cabrières will use its funds to the last Mora to bring them to justice.
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into hiding. I'm going to... Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry, my age is catching up with me. So the Confrérie was responsible for that banquet. So I was out and about the whole time, making sure things were running smoothly. Then I heard the sound of a gunshot, and the rest was history.
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself. We'll ask around some more. See if there are any valuable...
Sounds good. Just let me know if you ever need Mora. All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend however much it takes to clear his name.
We've talked to all three suspects, purely based on their conversations with me.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still compile what we were able to...
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun because of circumstance. That makes sense.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had no choice before he left home that day. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he...
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the Order and seek protection from my father. Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just a theory. Besides, Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial seawater was revealed.
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite possible. But who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Uncle Marcel? My father did really trust him. And they worked together on a large number of projects. Maybe, and with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large number of Gardamex. It's still really hard for me to imagine, though. After all, Uncle Marcel has been also... Wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of Mora and energy to fight his own synth business? You say? Huh. It is possible that he's figured that... I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about the mecha. I also don't...
Yeah, had he actually tampered with the mecha, we'd be able to prove it with it. If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out when and...
Florent? It is true that he was close, but as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work mostly deals with personnel and security, so he shouldn't have much need.
So you're saying he's too broke to afford...
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, who could it be? You know, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious of...
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these three, did he?
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered. When he laid out his case for the three, the suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and possesses significant intellect and foresight. Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes, Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky. But we don't have any... We need far more solid proof before we can hope to go charging in...
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking...
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the guards? Did something happen?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left. We've got another trial on our hands.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials? What's...
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What? Is that someone you know?
Yeah, we know him. Maybe even a little too well.
He's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. It's absurd, don't you think?
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had anything to...
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you if the charge against him stands, then it would be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigations.
Because they'll think they've already found the culprit.
Yeah. And it'll be a lot harder then to clear Mr. Callus's name.
I understand. Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just as expected of my partner. Since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention will be focused on Irenaeus, leaving his home base wide open. You're right. This is our best opportunity. All right then, let's do this. I'll stall them at the Opera House. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to you to—
We'll help you, just like you helped us in Lenny's trial.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malou, Silver, when did you—
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that it's our hope that your confidence will be bolstered.
Thank you so much. Then, let's make haste for Irenaeus. Paimon, Traveler,
See you then! Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. Huh. According to Malus's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance. Finally found it! Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. It sure doesn't... You're right. An important place like this is bound... Navia's probably arguing up a storm right now to stall for us.
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that right? In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorent, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back.
Hey, don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
No. That's not what I...
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly. We have made very little. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the culprit behind the serial...
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got... Huh? What's going on?
Why is she interjecting?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide the court, but that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your interjections.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. In And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default.
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, so, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge into?
That person is... Marcel, the head of confrérie of Cabrières.
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's sister organization?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge also means taking on, and if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation. Knowing this, do you still...
Yes, I do.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may stand trial. Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney.
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I still haven't figured out what's... I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between me and...
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charges.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of how, through elucidating what really happened in that case, can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case?
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on. Why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember, both you and I only ran... If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and reasoning.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance, Jacques. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken Jacques' life. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, he chose to prove his innocence through a duel. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Cloran in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed. These are the known facts about the case.
inviting Callus when he set out for the banquet. However, in the end, he reconsidered and instead shared everything with Callus, hoping to seek the latter's protection. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility and had... from him and kill him instead.
What happened? Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these years?
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish.
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we won. Do you have the evidence to back up your... I'm afraid not.
If you don't have any evidence, you should just go...
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a wreck, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time, regardless of age or gender. That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reason... Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little different?
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last trial.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you describe, then why didn't Mr. Callus explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearance. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but at that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of a serial disappearances case.
What? If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have... Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right. But what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect anyone? Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have... But by staying silent, we retained the ability to deter our opponents and continue. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And
once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot and restore my father's truth and honor.
So, you mean to say, your father intended...
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't, but since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us,
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callus was
Yeah, as a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives in my line of work. I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live, or if they're looking to... I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are...
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearance.
Right? What she said was fascinating.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearances case?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of time. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And, at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Don't know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations, until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see as your own daughter? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Ah well, let Uncle Marcel... Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me...
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontain.
I do apologize to Marcel. This...
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had come...
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case of the serial disappearances? You could also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anguish?
Seems like she got the wrong guy. And this way, Navi will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own feelings. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things, you'd have met most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me, and it never has been. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth, while that same agency has long been taken from them. The people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered tragic ends due to the many people's images are flashing before my eyes. I'm sure some are coming to those of you in the audience, and whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vache?
Huh.
Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up. Water level is rising. Now we can swim to the top. But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Quiet.
Can't handle this drink. Come, think you can bully me? Scratch me.
Gotcha. Take flight.
It's clear. Let's go.
Busted.
Look at you, Fontain. Think you can bully me?
Written in the stars.
Embrace the ice.
Quietly now.
After all that, we finally made it to the innermost sanctum. Though, as expected, the mastermind isn't here. That's right. Then let's hurry up and find some evidence so we can get back to the Opera House and help them. What's this over here? Looks like some kind of place for research. Experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob Ingold's research conclusions on the primordial sea and use his theory as a foundation. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimen. Sorry, traveler. Paimon will try her best. It's just, how can someone write something that terrible in such a matter-of-fact tone? You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going. So that's why he did all of these. Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. You mean Vache is the one who did all of these... experiments? So that's it! Vache was no victim, but personally took his lover and... No, that's not it either! If that's the case, why would he want people to resurface from the water? In any case, Paimon will write it all down. Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the water. Mixing in progress. Ready to drink? Stop. Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep, it's soup. Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here, and it's full of water. That means this is where they make all the synth. And that special water is the main ingredient. If you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth. But the pure stuff can absolve a human! Paimon will take notes on this incriminating... Let's see what's written here. Nothing escapes Detective Paimon's eyes. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an investigation report on him. Yep, it's about finding someone to assassinate Jacques and Callus, because this should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still have not determined the old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides by the promise he's made, he can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. The only option left is to I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. He won't declare war as long as... Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. They're all just... accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box. Oh, Paimon sees it too, but why are all these cute things labeled? Huh? You mean the girls from the serial disappeared and then they were turned into and all the boxes of things? These names. We've looked at almost everything here, and it seems, yeah, we haven't found anything that reveals it. No wonder even Neuvillette wasn't able to find anything. Whoever it is probably destroyed it that way. Even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the true culprit. Sure thing. Paimon won't admit... You take that side, and Paimon will take this side. Check everything carefully. Ugh. Nothing at all. And Paimon can't even find snacks either. Whoa, really? Let Paimon see. Venier. Isn't that Vache's lover's name? You found her diary! What? Aw. It's just a normal diary chronicling their love story. So many! A whole page's worth! But they're all crossed out. The final name she decided, Marcel. Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vache and Venier's grown son? Hey!
And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named... Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name.
I was wait...
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my partner.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules?
It's all right, Monsieur Neuvillette. Given their confidence, I expect...
But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vache.
Huh?
We've investigated your lair and we already know everything! After your lover, Venier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back to you! You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past as Vache!
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances
Because now, this information regarding your past also dismantles your prior timing defense. Well, Marcel, do you know where... You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we...
You also never understood Boss's real expectation.
Our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise, the trial will move on to...
Do you really think I pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how no one helped me? No one even believed me? All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage, they said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vinier's death was brushed away by all of you as if it didn't matter at all. Well, now you know, don't you? Now you only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice, your beloved drama. You turned your blind eye to the suffering of the people. Vinier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes, I will follow, but I'm not from this blasted place. So I can't be dissolved.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve. Can't dissolve. Do you all see? I can't go. I can't follow. So if I can't go where she is, what choice do I have but to try? I did all of that. And in the end, that accursed, I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his idiot daughter and...
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please restrict...
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me! I still need to stay here. Please, yeah. Don't think badly of me.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia.
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and summarize the truth behind the serial disappearances case. The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Vinier. During an underwater expedition, Vinier accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of... Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of discovering a method to restore it. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel, began to operate a business in Fontain. During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria. However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, he came into conflict. After exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years, Vacher decided to assassinate their president, Callus. Although the assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving the assassin he sent to the sea. And just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Lily as the culprit of the serial disappearances case, using a similar method. However, his attempt to frame Lily failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case. The Oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges against Mr. Vacher. The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal guilty.
Guards! Take Vacher. Oh.
Good. It's what he deserves.
With that, the serial disappearances case is over.
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would be such a polite and well-spoken guy?
Yippee! hurt so many innocent people and now he's finally getting what he deserves. Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were absolutely...
The day our late boss had always hoped for has finally come. You can...
Yeah. It's fine. See, Papa? Spina di Rosula still
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrong. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got—
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
What now? None of this has anything to do—
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial—
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't it time for some—
Please respect the laws of Fontain. This has always been—
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right? Let's just—
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that Mr. Tartaglia has no direct connection to the guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical we now turn to the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale. According to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique guilty.
What?
Hey! That's not funny! Didn't you What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine malfunctioning?
Huh? This has never happened before. The oratrice actually
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui harbinger? Do you think the oratrice might have just convicted him on general principle?
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of.
The judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale is— By guards, please take the side.
So this is how justice is done in Fontain. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established at the conception of Fontain's court system, the oratrice's judgment is the final verdict of the court. All I do is follow court procedure. As for why the oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
Why are you looking at me? I don't know what happened there either.
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either, but that's impossible. Didn't she create the
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called just...
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow an incorrect vote? Don't tell me. You thought even I had been blind.
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she had no idea.
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything and, of course, for every performance there is a script. Everything has unfolded. If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because you've been blind. Everything he's done, not to mention the danger he poses, are beyond ordinary comfort. All shall be revealed in time. You will come to understand my noble. Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense, it is now time for this performance to end.
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what she just...
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, however, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as I promised, if the judgment has been incorrect, we will do our utmost.
All right. Even though we feel pretty badly for him, after all, he's done plenty of bad stuff. So he should have known...
Quick, stop him!
Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Marcel! What are you doing over here?
Stop resisting arrest! Cease, or we'll add another—
No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first hear the name Vache? I erased all records of that name. So...
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been convicted.
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? But how could that be? How did you manage to do the Fountain of Lucine? Then she's been so close to me all along. Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the Traveler take me to the fountain to see her one last time.
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile? Do you think serial killers get to make requests?
Paimon agrees. Why should we give him what he wants when he's only done it?
This request, is it worth as much to you as your life?
Of course! Wait, no. It's worth even more than my life.
Humans. Will they betray the instinct to live just to satisfy spirit? Very well. I will grant.
Your Honor, I fear that...
I will go with him. You do not need to worry about any escape.
In that case, I shall leave him in your most...
Thank you. Your... Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that thing. Didn't you just drink a lot of it on the stage as well? Oh, in that case...
Vache!
Ah!
Yes, that's it! So you heard it too!
Vignier, it's me! It's me, Vache!
Vache? Vache?
I'm here! Where are you, Vignier? I'm coming.
Hey, wait! Be careful!
Vignier, is that you? It's me, Vacher! Vignier!
Vacher, why did you come? Didn't I say? You look a lot older than I remember.
It's been more than 20 years. I've suffered all this time. Only the thought of bringing you back has kept me alive. I must be dreaming. Who would have thought I'd get the chance to tell you all of my... Vignier, you are my everything. I really don't know how I...
But Vacher, if you ask me...
What?
If not for you, I would have finished my law degree and probably become a top-tier... If not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love of the arts, and my works would have been displayed in the palace. If not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of my mother. It's all because of your selfishness, Vacher.
Wait, you are not Vignier.
You're right. I am not Vignier. Every woman who died by your hand, as our bodies dissolved, our consciousnesses flowed back to the primordial sea. Our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea, and we were no longer individuals, but we became one. I'm Cressy. I'm Lemony. I'm Azine. The only one I am not is Vignier.
Why? But then...
She doesn't want to see you anymore. Every tendril of her consciousness is avoiding you. This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives and our futures. You said, but did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that... You are a liar, a heartless murderer. The only thing you are not is Vignier's beloved. From the moment your first victim died and her consciousness merged with Vignier's, she has had nothing.
No! Vignier! She can't hate me.
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, that came from the real Vignier. But on top of that, she also said that because... She said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy. Vacher. Vacher? Vacher. 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 Drown.
Finally, we have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able to relax.
Oh, well met, partner. I knew something great.
Even this weather can't put a damper on the demoiselle's mood.
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Now that I believe.
Sounds like you're really enjoying life these days.
It's just been one thing after the other. I've been making non-stop trips between Poisson and the court since then. Everyone from Spina di Rosula organized a memorial for my father. We never held a memorial when he first died, since everyone knew that even if we had this time, though, everyone in Poisson, and even many people from the court, all attended.
So his name's definitely been cleared now. That's
It's been the dearest wish of Demoiselle all along.
That blasted stubborn fool. I was right to put my faith in him. Oh, by the way, I ran into Charlotte just after I left the memorial service. Well, maybe it'd be more accurate to say I knew she would be there, and there was no way she'd just let—
Huh? So you know Charlotte too? The Charlotte? Journalist from the Steamboat?
Yeah, way back when I first became the president of the Spina di Rosula, I believe the story was called The True Heart of Darkness. To be fair, though, it was a really flattering feature. So, we've been on— She was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do an exclusive piece on the serial disappearances case.
Oh yeah, she told us about that.
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you guys entering the opera house with the—
Now that's an—
Oh, and in other news, I also took Clarande out for—
Oh, are you two on better
While you were investigating Vachey's headquarters, Clarande gave testimony on my father's behalf. It was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide. I wanted to thank her. I mean, there's also no point in being awkward all the time.
Oh, that's great. Paimon also thought Clarande wasn't actually a bad person. It's always good to—
Anyway, now that the case has finally been solved, perhaps it will slowly begin to fade from the public consciousness. Oh, actually, there's still one last thing I need to do.
What is it?
I should pay a visit to my father's grave and tell him the truth of what happened. And on top of that, just how much people
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
We want to go too. We all—
Sure thing. I'd like you two to share the moment with me. After all.
And in that case, everyone, let's be off. Considering the
Yeah, you're right. It's been raining non-stop for a few days now. This is where my father's grave is.
Huh? There's someone there? Isn't that Nervalette? Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navia?
My apologies. I should have asked before coming to pay my respects.
Don't say that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was trying to say there's no need for you to apologize. I wanted to show my father how much I've grown. But still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even the Chief Justice would feel compelled to apologize to me.
In that case, I will stop apologizing for now.
You really could use some pointers on understanding human emotions, Monsieur In any case. What?
Well, ever since that day, I've been turning a question over and over in my— There was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be anything more important. No, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resisting the most basic instinct of living things. That they could rebel against their own— Which is also why I didn't stop your father from beginning that fateful duel. I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life like that. That there was nothing, should have been, but Mr. Callis proved me utterly. And if not for his sacrifice, the serial disappearances case would have remained unsolved to this. Mr. Callis made the choice he did for his daughter, or his associates, and in the end, from a certain perspective, a justice that's higher than. So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. This regret has filled me with a sadness. That high and mighty chair in the opera epiclese indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for your hard work and perseverance.
So, you're actually one of those?
Sorry about that. So...
Didn't I...
So let's not disturb them for now. We can wait till after they're done. Paimon's never paid respects at someone's grave before. Paimon didn't know that was a thing. But Paimon doesn't know what she would do if she can't fly. Oh no. Paimon hopes Miss Navia won't be too mad. Anyway, Nervalette is still standing around there. It's not often that we can catch him alone like this, so why don't we go talk to him?
Oh, it's you two. Did Miss Navia invite you to come pay your respects to her father?
Mm-hmm. We ran into Navia on the streets today, so we just...
I see. Then is there something that I can help you?
Well, it's pretty hard to run into you like this since you're usually super busy. So we figured we could try to ask you if you...
Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontain, and it would be my pleasure to return the favor. Your sibling, another blonde-haired traveler. I'm sorry. If she ever stepped foot in Fontain, I'm sure she followed our law. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about? My apologies. My investigation has still not... However, I still believe the judgment of the Oratrice was not rendered arbitrarily.
But you also said you thought...
For many years, I have been quite aware that the Oratrice does not simply mechanically repeat the verdict that I... As a divinely created mechanism, the people's unified faith in the concept of justice is integrated into it. Not only can it produce the incredible power of indemnitium, which is all to say I have been prepared for a...
So when
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps that could serve to prove my conjecture. I will add, in any case, I am inclined to believe that the Oratrice does have a methodology all its own. We just do not have it. Based on Farina's reaction, I doubt even she had any idea what was going on. She managed to bluff her way. While we do intend to get to the bottom of this, for now, we regret to say that the Fatui Harbinger will just have to bide his time in the fortress of Meripede. If we did incorrectly convict him of crimes he did not commit...
If you ask Paimon, the only compensation he'll want is a no-holds-barred fight with you.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about? That the sea levels will rise and everyone will be dissolved in water, leaving Farina crying alone on her throne, but the sins of the people will be fine. Does that appropriately summarize the version you've heard?
That's right! It was Linny that told us back then. And that about covers all the main points.
Yes, up to the present, I think we reached a point where we have no choice but to confront this prophecy directly. Rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the last words the former Hydro Archon left to the world before she passed away.
A prophecy? Of the former Hydro Archon?
Two parts of the prophecy have already proven correct. The rising sea levels and the ability of the people of Fontaine to be... Speaking of the prophecy, Farina has also always taken it quite seriously. Indeed, she has been collecting information and intelligence. If the rumors were true, then perhaps this prophecy is the conundrum left to Farina.
But with Farina being the way she is, can we really trust her to...
Is there anything else you'd like to... Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that Vache and his ilk only learned of its nature and existence after extensive research. There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea.
Huh. So it really was where everything began. It makes sense to call it primordial then.
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists on the planet's surface. What Vache discovered must have been some kind of special
Huh. So that's how—
Indeed. Why would the primordial— To be frank, is there anything— Very well. It was my honor to provide you with what answer. It will soon be time for me to leave this blissful
You really are super busy, Monsieur.
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and so—
All right. You've got a— Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped.